Now, why amateur golfers can't squat to start that downswing like we see all the top pros is because of three things in their golf swing. And once you get these three things in there, it's not only going to be easier to squat, it's going to be pretty much be automatic once you get this. So let's dive straight into it and get a little bit of effortless squat power. So reason number one of when golfers are trying to get their squat, they can't get it, is because they're actually moving down as they're going into their top of the backswing, so overly lowering. Because with a lot of golfers, of course, they're trying with their intent to get their squat. But as they start to get up to the top, that intent starts to seep into the top of the backswing. So we would actually see them get lower. If there was a line right on the top of my head, we'd see most golfers actually lower quite considerably to that line as they start going down. So then, as they're starting that downswing, they're not going to squat more because now the swing is way into the ground. If I did that, look at the shot. Completely chunked it. So that's what's going to happen for most golfers. If they lower down, and then try to lower down more, swing height's going to plummet into the ground. What you'd actually see for most golfers is they'll have that lowering down move, and they might be okay with their height starting off that downswing, but then they'll quickly stand up to get the club back out the ground, and they'll have this horrible kind of like coming out of posture, nasty shot. Managed to time that one okay, but it's gone quite short there, 132 yards. So what we want to do to be able to squat way easier to start that downswing, we want to maintain our height. So we want to get up to the top of the swing, and we don't want our height that we had it set up to change that dramatically. We can move a tiny bit down or even a tiniest bit up, but we want it to relatively be at that same height as we were at setup. So again, if I have a line right here and I turn up to the top, I want that line to still be on the head there. So then it will give me room ultimately to be able to lower down, and it's not going to negatively affect my swing height. So again, we want to stay relatively tall. We'll talk about a little drill for this after this shot, so we can give ourselves room to squat. So the drill I like to do for golfers to train this movement is just go to a wall. And what you want to do, you actually want to stand to where you're about a hand's head distance away from the wall, because when we lower down, we actually go forward at the same time. So if a golfer gets a club, let's say grips it right at the end there, and they're turning up to the top, they want to turn and not get closer to this wall, because if they do, they've lowered down, they're going to hit that too. So just get that sensation. Turning up, don't hit that wall, and then we get that same sensation going there. You could even have your head touching the wall and turn. Same feeling. Let's go and hit a ball. Let's get those out of the way so the sim knows what ball I'm hitting. Okay, keep that height, absorb the feel from the drill, and naturally squat a little bit better. Now, the second reason of why amateur golfers aren't squatting to start the downswing, this is a lot more of a concept-driven move. A lot of golfers are trying to get the sequencing of bumping the hips and then turning. So there's a lot of reasons why that's quite damaging for a lot of golfers. But if we're talking about the squatting sense, if you bump your hips to start off the swing by just laterally moving your tilt of your hips, raising upwards with the lead side, that's not going to lower you down any at all. That's just going to slide your pelvis, and it's actually going to then tilt your upper body back. So it would be practically impossible to get a lowering move as you do that. It's not saying at all that we don't want to get into our left side. We of course want to do that. We want that weight distribution to move over. But if we go and reframe that to, we want to get our pressure onto the left, or even better, we want to squat or lower down into the left side, then we get that weight getting into the left side there. So we're getting that good low point control getting forward, but now we're not having any detrimental move to our lowering down for that good vertical force, which we know is the reason why squatting is a powerful move. So we want to squat into the left side. So we can imagine if we've kept our height and we're feeling okay, squat into the left side, that's keeping the left side of the pelvis down. That keeps the upper body more on top, not seesawing away there, and then that gives us a really good place to be able to turn through. So we don't want to bump and then try to squat from there, because it's not going to help all too much. I'm going to get, again, what was that, 127. Not very long for an 8-iron. Everything threw out towards the right there. It was a weak one, club path 6 degrees from in to out. So if I feel like I bump left, I've got a great drill to do for this. That's going to be a really good one to be able to get you shifting that pressure, shifting that weight, and getting into that ground. So squat left. And there we go. That was a much longer, more powerful and straighter shot. Club path went to 1.5. Carry distance went to 161. So squat left, let me show you a good drill. So this is an amazing drill for work on. This is something I've actually done a ton in my golf game. I'm actually going to be making a video just about this as well very soon, how it's helped me massively to be able to clear those hips. So, okay, what we're doing here, getting ourselves with a lot of stick coming out on the left, a tiny bit on the right. So make sure we're wearing trousers with belt loops. And then what we want to do, we know, okay, as we're at the top of our swing, where's the stick pointing? It's angled down towards the ground. In the golf swing, we're tilted to that golf ball. So you can see stick angled down. If we bump, what's happening? Stick is raising up, upper body's tilting away from the target. Not good. So we want this stick to go down and disappear. Because of course, we want to lower down, but we want to turn as well. It's not a lowering and then turning. It happens at the same time. Squatting left, getting this stick to go down and around. It's absolutely brilliant. I've done it a ton myself. Really helped me even get better compression on the golf ball as well. So down and around with the stick. Let's give it a go. Really nice. Again, lovely distance. Club path pretty good. Match up the face really nicely. Right where I'm trying to hit the golf ball. So stick for the belt loops, down and disappear that stick around you to squat left. Okay, third reason here, and that is golfers aren't moving into hip flexion. So this is one you see all the time of me talking about on this channel, moving into hip flexion. So what is that? That is, as we're coming down that downswing, the left hip going back. We hear the likes of Justin Rose talk about this all the time, Tommy Fleetwood, so many of the top guys talk about trying to get their left hip to go back. So it's a really good one to clear and open. So now, again, I talk about a ton for clearing the hips, but it actually is the movement that you see top players do. That is the squatting move. Top players, there's not a single one that tries to actually squat down. It's almost a little myth in itself, is the squat is a physical, actual squatting move. All it really is, of course, the combination of keeping your tilt and getting that left side to move back. That moves hips into flexion, which moves the hips back, moves the upper body down. Now, as you can see, I've ultimately squatted. So we need those hips to move back. What we see so many times with golfers is they will be just trying to, again, turn and spin their hips, but they'll actually start to move their right hip forward, and that actually extends you rather than gets you into flexion. So you won't see this very squatted movement. You'll see the shot. That'll be quite a big lack of control. Because I drove forward, I didn't get that left hip back. That made the hands high going through the golf ball, which opened the face, which is why that flared out quite considerably to the right. So that's where getting the left hip back not only will lower you down, and we know the reason for squatting, getting into the ground. So then as we turn and we extend going through the golf ball with our lead side, I've got so many videos on this, gets the power out of the ground and makes it hit the ball further, which you're going to see here. But it also helps directionally because it helps you really clear those hips. Such a key one. Left hip goes back, forces the body into flexion. Awesome one. Let's give it a go here and talk about one or two drills we can do, okay, which will encapsulate everything we've talked about, which is a great drill for what we're talking here also. Okay, so here we go. This is a drill that you've seen on my channel so much. So normally I do it with, of course, that camping chair, but of course, I'm not in my back garden. As you can see, I'm down at Tee to Green in South Ayrshire in Scotland. So if you're local as well to the South Ayrshire area, or you're coming over here for a golfing trip, how many good golf courses are there in Ayrshire? There are so many, it's overwhelming. You can get a good discount of a session in here with the TrackMans. So there's a link in description. So it's JChownGolf in capital letters at checkout to get you a nice discount. But of course, because I'm here, I'm using the stools, really nice stools they have here. So what we're doing with it, we're placing this stool about half a grip's distance behind us. And what we're wanting to do is feel like, one in the backswing, like our right hip goes back, to ultimately gets close to touching the stool here. Again, when we're moving our hips back, moving deeper with our hips, again, that causes a little bit of flexion to happen, which is what we want. And of course, in the downswing, we want our left hip to go back to close in that gap, to get close to hitting it, ideally hitting it, or get close. If we're covering that gap, we're going to be getting left hip back, moving us into hip flexion, getting ultimately that squatting move. This is what most golfers are missing when they're trying to squat, and why they don't do it to start the downswing. So here we go. So even though I didn't quite touch it with my hip there, but I knew I moved closer, and that is pretty much perfect. Nice smooth one, dead on the line. All the shots there we can see of how to do it. Look at that little grouping there. Those are all on the green with a chance for birdie. Those are all the ones. And that one there, that's a funny one. All those there are what I did absolutely with what most golfers are doing when they're trying to squat. So again, not only is this going to massively help you for your power, as you can even see again there, look at the distance difference between those. Of course, that was a chunk. So you're not only going to be hitting it straighter like you can see there, but you're going to be hitting it further. So let me do one more here. Whatever your problems are here, that is what you've got to go at. So have a look at your golf swing. Are you lowering down? Draw a line on the top of your head. See whether that's the case. If it's not, okay, then you need to either get that squat left feel or you need to have this chair drill. So, okay, let's do one more there. Absolutely lovely. Fun enough, I pulled that a smidge, but it's the great way to go. Let's show you that other drill. So if you're not a fan of the chair drill, absolutely that squatting left drill with the stick will suffice just fine. So we know what to do with this. Get it pointing down towards the ground and disappear around you. It's a great one as well. It gets you into hip flexion also, maybe not quite as much as the chair or stool, but still a very, very good one to do. Let's give this one another go. Lovely. And that's what we got to go do, guys. So pick your drill, look at your swing, see whether any of these apply to you, which they absolutely will if you are struggling to squat. But absolutely, if you enjoyed this video, click that like button if you want more golf instruction. Just like this, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell button too, to be notified every time I put out a video.